Hey folks, Dave here, and today I got a new game here on the channel I'm playing. I'm taking a look at the fast action football game that you can find at Downey Games. And as usual, I just want to make sure that I'm up and running and everything sounds okay. Okay, and I think we're okay, so we are live right now. And so today, as you know, I do like to play the fast action games, the final score games, the quick play games. That's been my thing lately. But I wanted to go and take the next step and go to something a little deeper. And it was either this or it was the Mean Gene matchup football or whatever that's called over at Downey Games. And I was juggling back and forth, and I settled on the fast action for right now. I imagine I'll play Mean Gene as well. But I wanted to play this one first. So I picked up this in the 1976 season. And I played a little bit last night, so not real good at this game, but I wanted to give it a first look. I told a couple people I'd do a video on this game once I got it going. So what I did is over here on the left, I just have the PDFs lined up. Over here with me, I have a little makeshift scoreboard. It's nothing fancy. And then down here, the fast action cards. And let me tell you, so on the Digital to Dice podcast, episode 4 we just did, we talked about incorporating technology, if you will, with cards and dice, evolving, if you will, adapting. This is exactly what we're talking about, okay? Because if I scroll down here, these are the game parts, and if I scroll down, they give you black and white and also color versions of this fast action cards, okay, that you would print out and cut if you choose the PDF version. Bringing this in to the Excel helper, I can just click and the cards come up here. So I don't need to print them out if I don't want to. I can play them on my computer, and I can stream like I'm doing right now and show you the cards, and they look really nice. This is huge right here, having the fast action flipper. I'm really glad they did that. So that's just one of the really fun things about this game that I've been really impressed with so far. So what you get, so this is over here on the left here, this is the fast action football logo here. You get, all the instructions on how to play, yada, yada, yada. Even down over here, you get plenty of score sheets here. There's a lot of ways to keep stats in this game if you want. And there's also, there's a lot of variation in this game, a lot of options. So as you know, I like to mod my games a little bit or make a couple of changes that I see fit to make the game, quote, better, if you will. This game, there's really not much that needs to be done to it. It has so many different ways to play that it does all that modding for you and all that homebrew stuff for you. So, for example, the time. I'm not going to keep time today, but there's 2 or 3 ways it says you can keep time. The first way is to go to the team card here. This would be the Minnesota Vikings, and if you look at their offense, okay, they average 38.6 runs and 31.6 passes. You would add that to the Pittsburgh Steelers runs and passes, and divide by 4, and that would give you an idea how many plays per quarter if you want to go play by play. You can also go drive by drive, and there's also in the rules things in there that show, if you run and it's a long run, it's 45 seconds. Incomplete passes are 10 to 15 seconds. So if you want to even go that way, you could do it that way. So there's many different ways to keep time in this game. And that's fantastic. There's options galore in this game too, and there's even plenty of options when coming to play calling, which I wasn't aware of until I dug into this, and I even added my own as well. So let's get into that. So first things first. So right off the bat, I'm not going to keep the time. Okay, we're just going to play a little bit. Everything is done down here on the fast action cards, and you can even shuffle the deck because there's 60 fast action cards. Okay. And they tell you to print out 2 decks so you have 120 of them, which is always a good idea to have extra fast action cards, unless it's specifically designed to have so many. But here I shuffle often, so as I spin them around, I just shuffle them. So first things first, Pittsburgh is going to kick off. That's how we're going to do it. Oh, there's also a momentum factor, and it starts with the home team. So Minnesota is going to be the home team. They will receive the ball, and they will start with momentum. Now, as you can see here, momentum changing plays. There's a handful of things that will change the momentum. A score allowing a lead or a tie, a lost fumble, a sack on third down. They're all right here. So there's many different things that will change the momentum of the game and swing it to the other team. Now, how that works, if I'm over here and I draw a card, you can see right here how it says momentum, or it says offense, or it says defense. You saw that. Let's see, where's defense? Right there. So this is the first thing you check to see which card you're going to read off of. So you're either going to read off of the offense or the defense. Obviously, much like the momentum football game from Downey Sports, the offense, if you're on offense, there's better chances to do things on offense. If you read off the defensive card, it's a little stingier because now the defense read the play correctly. So when you have the momentum factor in there now, whichever team has the momentum, that's the card you read from. So momentum is kind of key in this game, I think, because that means you're going to be reading off that particular card, okay, as far as offense and defense. So let's get started here. All right, so Pittsburgh is going to kick off. So we're going to go over here. Now, oh, by the way, what you get for team cards, as you can see, this is the team card here of the Steelers. I printed out a bunch. I added the logo. I added a little bit of color to it just for me. So I printed out a couple of teams, including the 0-14 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I printed out a couple of things here, so in color. So if I want to have them play on the tabletop, I can. But for today, I'm just going to show you what they gave me here. So as you can see at the top, it's the Steelers' defense as well as their kicking. Okay, and if you see, there's a couple of players on here as well. If I scroll down to the offense, they did include some key players on the team. They don't have everybody, but they have the key players, and that's really fun. So if you want to keep some stats, you definitely could, and it just adds to the immersion of the game. So I really like how they did that. And then the same over here with the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, this is the defense is on the top, and on the bottom here is the Vikings offense. Okay, so let's kick off and get this going. I'll show you how this game works. So we're going to go over here to the Steelers, and we're going to kick off. So first things first, we draw a fact, and the kickoff is a 3. So they go over here to the kickoff, and Roy Driller kicks off. 3 is to the opponent 2. So I'm going to come up here to my chart so I can keep an eye on it here. And so I received the ball. Oh, I'm sorry. I received the ball on the Minnesota 2-yard line. That's where the ball was received. So now we need to roll for a penalty or fumble. You always got to do that at the beginning of a play. You can kind of do it at any time, but I like to do it and get it out of the way. So I'm going to draw. So a penalty or fumble, 23. I go to the Minnesota team chart here, this little thing right here, team penalty, opponent's penalty, and fumble. A 23 is not in that range, so there's not going to be a penalty or fumble on this play. So now I want to know who's returning the kick and if I want to return it. So yes, I'm going to return it. I caught it at the 2. So I come over here and I draw player 10. Under my kickoff return, 1 to 15 would be Leonard Willis. So Leonard Willis receives the ball at the 2. I draw another fact, and all returns is a 7. So I go over here to his chart, 7, and that's 24 yards on the kickoff return. So I'm at the Minnesota 2 plus 24 is he brings it out to the 26-yard line. So Minnesota has the ball at their own 26-yard line, 1st and 10. So that's how the kickoff works. So now this is where the fun begins. Okay, so I'm going to leave the Minnesota offense here. Okay, the offense is at the bottom of the team card. What you can do is you can draw a fact. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw one. Okay, 64. Now, this purple over here, this purple number is 10 to 69, giggity. Okay, you see the play calling tendency? So if you want to go 100% neutral, 100% automatic, you draw a card, and this purple number tells you what the play is going to be. So 10 to 42 is a run, and 43 to 69 is a pass, okay? So they would come out on first down with a pass if you wanted to do it that way. They also tell you that if you want to, you can mix and match that. You can have this be automatic, or if you want to, you can call your own play. Okay, let me just make sure my audio's going here. Yeah, okay. So I could say I want to run or I want to pass. Okay, so you could bypass the automatic play calling tendency for either team if you wanted to at any time and call your own play. So it's first down. So let's say I want to call a run. Okay, so the first way is pick a card, look at the purple number, and let the game tell you what it's going to be. My problem with that is if you got a 3rd and 15, you're probably not going to run. Okay, so that's where I don't like to use the automatic, or at least not much. Okay, so the second way is to determine if it's going to be a pass or a run. Okay, now there's no really long pass or short pass or long run. It's just run or pass. Okay, it's kind of basic. There is a Hail Mary optional rule at the end of the half, if you will, at the end of the game, so that there is a Hail Mary option in there if you want to do that. But for the most part, even if it's 3rd and 20, it's just a pass. Okay, so you can call run or pass. The only modification I've done to this game is I've added a third way, and this is when you really got to be on the honor system. Okay, this is when you can't keep going to your favorite guy all the time. So I've added a third way to play where once in a while I will call who's going to get the ball. Meaning, okay, it's 1st and 10. I'm going to hand it off to Chuck Foreman. Okay, or I'm going to have Tarkenton keep the ball himself. Okay, so once in a while I call it out, and so I bypass the player number down here at the bottom with the 6. Okay, I would bypass that and just go right to the player. So that's the only thing I've changed in this game. And same with the receiving. So I'm going to do a pass play. So I could say, I'm going to throw it to Ahmad Rashad. That's going to be my target, and I'm going with him all the way. Otherwise, again, come over here, you draw a fact. Player 18, I would be throwing the ball to Robert Miller if I went with the fast action card random number, okay? That's how you determine who you would pass to. So there's 3 different ways to play. You can just go all automatic off the card. You can interject yourself and say, I want to run or I want to pass. So the third way is to actually pick your runner or your receiver. Okay, and you could probably even do that on kickoff returns too if you wanted one guy to return. But again, it's kind of the honor system here. You don't want to keep going to Ahmad Rashad over and over and over because he's your best guy. Okay, that's when if you wanted to, you could. But if you just wanted to play it out fair, mix it up a little bit. Okay, so we've determined how to call the play. So now let's run a couple of plays. Okay, so first things first, Minnesota 1st and 10 on the Minnesota 26. They have the momentum. They're in the bold here. They have momentum. Okay, so we are going to run the ball. Okay, so first things first, as we draw the fact, the team with the momentum. You see down here, it changed the momentum. So we're going to read off the momentum chart or team card. Right now, Minnesota has the momentum, so we're reading off the Vikings offense. Now we got to determine if there's a penalty. 47, there's no fumble, there's no penalty. If there was a fumble, you would run the play. And at the end of the play, you would roll here to see if they lost the fumble or not, okay? Or if they kept it. So it's a running play. We're reading off the Minnesota offense chart. No fumble. So now we're going to draw again and see who gets the handoff. So Tarkenton hands it off to 11, which is not Chuck Foreman, it's Brent McClanahan. So Tarkenton handed off to McClanahan. And now we look at the green number here, which is the run catch, and it's a 9. So McClanahan, 9, 1 yard. Okay? Excuse me. So Minnesota gains 1 yard. So now it's 2nd and 9 on the Minnesota 27. Okay, for lack of a better way to keep track of where we are, okay? I had a little football field here that I was using and keeping track in front of me when I was playing earlier, but to try to get it up here, this is how we're going to do it. And again, I'm not keeping the time. Okay, that's something I might do in a later video, but I'm just kind of showing you how the game plays. Okay, 2nd and 9 now for a Minnesota on their own 27. This time, Tarkenton's going to pass. All right, so We're going to draw the card. So we take it from the team with the momentum. So it's coming off Minnesota again. Now let's check for a penalty. A 61, no penalty, no fumble. So it's going to be a pass. Tarkenton goes back to pass. He's looking for number 2, so that is Chuck Foreman coming out of the backfield. The pass here in the teal box is 12. So I look over here, and Tarkenton, a 12 is sacked. And now we roll to see it's minus 12 yards on the sack. And so let's log that in now. So he loses 12 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 21 at the 15. Now, if we go to the Pittsburgh defensive card, we can see who got the sack. We're going to draw another fact, and it's number 6. So the sack was Dwight White on the sack. So if you were using one of the, I don't know if I have him here. I think I might have put him away. Oh, maybe not. So if you were using, one of these score sheets here, then you'd be logging it in, and then you'd be logging in Dwight White with the sack of Tarkenton for a 12-yard loss. So that's how a sack would work. So now we got 3rd and long. And because it was a sack, again, over here, momentum is a QB sack on 3rd down. So it was 2nd down, so it's not a momentum changer, but it is a big play. Okay? So now let's go back over here. We're going to look at the Minnesota chart. So now it's going to be 3rd down and long. Okay? So now I am going to select my receiver, okay? Because I want to see if I can get somebody with some yardage here. So Sammy White has the best chance of getting that 1st down. So I'm going to throw to Sammy White, okay? So that's when I step in. I am going to select my receiver. Okay, so let's go here. So we're going to see what card we draw from. Okay, now we're drawing from the defensive card. So now the chances are slim I'm going to get a 1st down. But let's find out. So I'm drawing from the defense. A 69. Oh, a potential fumble. So we need to keep that in mind. At the end of this play, there may be a fumble. Okay, so we're getting it all done today. So now I look. I draw another one. The pass is 38. Now I go to the Pittsburgh defense, pass defense. Okay, because remember when we pulled the card, it said go to defense. So I'm not reading off the offense. I'm going to the defense. So a 38 pass defense on the Steelers is completed. Okay. So it is completed. And now I see, let me see. I got to check out how long the catch was now. So I go here, and the run catch was a 10. And it was 11 yards. Okay. That's how it goes. So I determined it was completed, and then I go here. It was 11 yards on the catch, and I said I threw that to Sammy White. So Sammy White catches it for 11 yards. So now that brings up 4th and 10, and I'm on the 26. So now I'm going to have to kick it away. So we're going to go to the punt right now, and you don't really need to worry about the defense of the offense on a punt, really, because that's just straight up. So my punter comes in. Neil Clabo will come in to kick it, but we do need to check for a penalty or a fumble. So we're going to come over here and draw a 12. Ooh, boy. That could be an opponent penalty. Okay, so let's play this out and see what the penalty is going to be. All right, so the punt is away. It is a 6. It's 41 yards. Okay, so let's just put this here just so we know where we started from. So we started on the Minnesota 26. So 41 yards, if my math is correct, it's going to be the, oh boy, so what's that? 24 yards to the 50. I got to do my math now. And 17 yards, so that should be the 33. So I kicked it to the Pittsburgh 33-yard line. That's where the guy received it from. So let's go to Pittsburgh now. Oh, I forgot to check the fumble on 3rd down. I did. I was supposed to check that. Yeah, I'm doing too much explaining right now. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I should have checked on that third down, the lost fumble here under the purple chart to see if I did lose the fumble. So um, uh, Minnesota gains an advantage on that one today because I forgot to check the fumble. But yeah, I should have checked the fumble. I should have made a mental note of that. Stupid Dave. So thanks for pointing that out. I did forget to check the fumble. So let's see who's gonna get it for Pittsburgh. So we're gonna come over here. We're gonna draw 16 for Pittsburgh on the the punt return. So it's gonna be Jack D'Lo Plain, and all returns is a 9, and he only gets 6 yards in the return. So he brings it up to the 39. However, we need to check the penalty. So it would be Pittsburgh ball at the 39. So let's go to our penalty here. Okay, and that was, the penalty was on Pittsburgh, actually, I believe it was. So we need to check the punt return and roll off the run catch. So the green is a 7. So on a punt, a 7, it's 10 yards. No, I'm sorry. So on the defense, they would be the ones receiving, so that would be no penalty. Okay, so there's no penalty on the play. Okay, because Pittsburgh was on defense when the kick was made and the penalty was decided. So there's no penalty on the play. So it's going to be Pittsburgh ball. First down and 10 on their own 39. So I can get rid of that right there. So yeah, so I did mess up on the fumble there. Okay. So now Pittsburgh has the ball, first and 10 on 39. Again, I have not kept track of any time yet. Okay, that's one thing I didn't get into today. I'm just kind of playing the game out. So I'm going to shuffle my deck and start fresh. So now Pittsburgh's going to come out, and now let's see what they're going to do. So I'm going to call a run, and I'm going to let the computer determine who gets the ball. So on the 39, the team of the momentum, that's what we're going to read from. So we're going to read from the defensive chart of the Vikings once we determine who has the ball. Now we check penalties. So penalties and fumbles, a 26 is none. Let's see who gets the ball. 19. Bradshaw is going to keep it himself. So let's go to the Minnesota defense now. Run defense here. So we go to the run catch is a 9. Bradshaw on a bungled play gains 2 yards. So it's going to be 2nd and 8 from the Pittsburgh 41. So you made something out of nothing on that. Okay, so 2nd down now for the Steelers. And I think they're going to run it again. The Steelers are going to run it again at the 41. So we're going to read from the team with momentum. So we're going to read off the defense again because Minnesota has the momentum. A 48 is no penalty or fumble. Number 10 gets the ball. So that's going to be Rocky Bleier. Bleier has the ball, but we read off the Minnesota defense. And let's spin that around 4. So 8 yards. So Bleier gets 8 yards, and that's good enough for a first down at the 49. So they're at midfield now. So Pittsburgh has the ball at midfield, if I did that all right. Okay. So at midfield, Bradshaw's going to pass this one. And I'm going to call my pass. I'm going to look for Lynn Swan. Okay, he's going to go to Lynn Swan on this one. So we come back over here. We're going to read off the offense. This is going to be good for Pittsburgh. We check for penalties. A 42, no penalties, no fumbles. So Bradshaw goes back to pass. We look at passes, a 14 for Bradshaw. And he is sacked. A 14 is a sack. Okay, because I called out Swan, we don't look at the player, which would have been Swan anyway. So Bradshaw is sacked. It's a 6-yard sack. So it's 2nd and 16 at the 43 is how that's going to shake out. And let's come over here and player 4 for Minnesota, if you're keeping score, Alan Page with the quarterback sack. Okay, so that brings up 2nd and 16. So Bradshaw's not happy about that, so he's going to try to pass again. Okay, this time I'm going to let the computer pick who he passes to, or the facts. So which card? We draw it off the momentum card, so we're coming off the Minnesota defense. We check for penalties. 64, no penalty, no fumble. 14, Bradshaw is looking for Frank Lewis. Okay, he's looking for Frank Lewis. And now we got to go to the pass defense here and draw. That no, that didn't spin, did it? Right, Frank Lewis. Sometimes if you're not on here, no, it didn't spin. So I got to come over here and make sure that spins. So the pass is 29. So the pass defense for the Vikings is 29. That's a completed pass. And the run catch is 6 for 13 yards. So that's a toss, what do we say, to Frank Lewis for 13 yards. So that brings up a 3rd and 3. And so that would be at the 44, I believe, if that is correct, right? So that would be the Minnesota 44, if that is correct. So 3rd and 3 at the Minnesota 44. Pittsburgh has the ball. They're going to run it this time. They're going to try to get some yards on the ground. So they're going to hand it off, and I'm going to let the computer decide who gets it. So we're back to the draw the FAC. In fact, I'm going to shuffle the cards just because I used a bunch of them here. And here we go. All right. So Steelers 3rd and 3 on the Minnesota 44. So we're going to draw it off the offense, so that's good for Pittsburgh. Any penalties or fumbles? 52, no penalties, no fumbles. And then 11's going to get the ball, so Franco Harris, and run catch is 8. Franco Harris gets 6 yards. No, I'm sorry, that's receiving. I got to go to my rushing. What did I say that was? That was a 9, right? So it's still Franco Harris. We're going to give it to Harris. Run catch is 8, so he only gets 2 yards, if I read that correctly. So 4th down and 1 at the Minnesota 44. So there are some special rules in here for 4th down. And again, I'm just kind of still playing this. Let me see. You can fake punts. You can do all that there. I thought there was special rules on 4th down. I think actually on 4th down, you would go from the goal line defense. Let me just spin through here real quick. Because again, this is a kind of a first look here, so don't crucify me here that I'm still looking at it here. Okay, any team on possession or on 4th down plays, goal line defense. Okay. When it plays out from the defensive chart. Okay, so that's where Pittsburgh would have to roll the dice here if they wanted to, the goal line run defense. So they would have a pretty good chance of getting it, actually, if they went with it. So what do you say? You want to go for it at midfield? I say we go for it. We roll the dice. So Pittsburgh is going to go for it here. They're going to go for the run. So where's my Pittsburgh here? They're going to go for the run and see if they can get the first down. So let's come over here. First off, what we draw it off. Okay, so it's going to come off the Vikings chart. Okay, so the Vikings have the advantage right now. And again, I'm kind of going slow. If you were playing by yourself, you could rip through this. So we're going to check for penalties. A 28, no penalties, no fumble. Number 19, so Bradshaw keeps it himself. So Bradshaw keeps it. So now we go to the goal line run defense. Check the run catch. Is a... I think that spun, didn't it? No, it didn't. So I need to go and spin this over here. A run catch of 6 on the goal line defense. Bradshaw actually gets 3 yards on that, on the goal line defense, if I read that correctly. So they get the first down. So 1st and 10, Bradshaw with the run, and 3 yards brings it to the Minnesota 41. So the drive continues. So that's pretty much how you play this game here. Again, there's a couple of different things in here with interceptions and fumbles. So what you would do, let's just say that Bradshaw fumbled. Let's say we rolled a fumble on here. At the end of the play, so it's at the Minnesota 41, it would be 1st and 10, but we're going to come over here and draw this. A 28 on Pittsburgh would be a lost fumble. okay, because 10 to 38 would be lost fumble. So if I had drawn a fumble on that fourth down play, Bradshaw would have gained 3 yards to the 41. It would have been first down, but he fumbled the ball. Okay, and it would be at the 41. Minnesota would get it because that fell in through here. Then we would determine who picked up the fumble. So now let's go to the Minnesota chart here and see who got the fumble. And how they do that is on a run, they do it off the sack chart. I believe it is. So if I go to my fumble, I just want to double check this here. Okay, you go to all returns to see, okay, the fumble chart. So we go to the defense. So here's the fumble return chart. Okay, so we're going to see who get it, first of all. So it's going to be player 10. So it's going to be picked up by Jeff Seaman, recovers the fumble, and the all returns is 7. That's what it said to do, right? Go to the all returns, and 7 on fumble return is 0 yards. So on that play there, if that was a fumble, Minnesota would get the ball back. They would get the momentum, even though they have it. If Pittsburgh had the momentum, Minnesota would get the momentum, and it would be 1st and 10 for Minnesota. So that's how that works. Field goals are kind of the same way. Punts, okay, if we wanted to punt, let's just say we wanted to punt. So let's just say Pittsburgh, instead of going for it, they decided to punt. Okay, so Pittsburgh, they have the ball, and they said, we're going to punt. So we check for a penalty or a fumble or anything on Pittsburgh's card here. Okay, nothing going on. So now we hit the punt. The punt's a 10. So we go up here, Bobby Walden's the punter. A 10 is a 34. So if they are punting from the 41, I think you would actually, I don't know if you would add the 7 yards that the punter is not. No, I don't think you would. I think you take it from the line of scrimmage. So the punt would be caught at the 7. We would see on Minnesota's card. Now, we check the return. The return is 9 or less. Okay, so we need to check the return, and that is the red box here. It's a 14. So no, that would not be returned. Okay, because it's got to be 9 or less for a return. So under that block kick of the return, that was fair caught at the 7. If it was a different number, let's just say it was a 6, that would be returned. Then you go to Minnesota, and you say, who's the punt return guy? It is 19, so it was actually Autry Beeman, and let's see what he returns it. All returns is 2, so he would return, that would be a big gain. LG is a big gain, so Autry would get the big gain, and the big gain, let me see, you would go to LG, so that would be this times 1, so I need to go to the big game chart now. And where's the big gain? Where's the big gain? LG. The long gain is the orange. Okay. So we would go to Autry Beeman. We would draw the orange. The long gain is 9. Okay. So it would be 9 times 1. 9 plus 2 is 11. So the long gain would be 11. So he got it at the 7. And he got it up to the 18. That would be considered a long gain on that one right there. So that's kind of how you would return a punt. Field goals kind of the same way. Let's just say Pittsburgh is kicking a field goal. You determine the length of the field goal. Okay, so then you would roll to say, okay, is there a penalty or a sack or a fumble? No, 16. So all is good. And now we got to check the kick. So it's a 15. So depending where he's kicking from, that's actually a good number. Low numbers that tend to be pretty good in this game. So he would hit everything, actually. So even if he was going 51 to 55, a 15 would be under that. So he would hit that. So you can see how the numbers go down. So if on that roll here of the field goals and the PATs, he needs a 53 or less, a 47 or less. So you can see how the numbers come down, so there's less of a chance to hit that field goal. So in this case there, a PAT of 15, he would hit that from just about anywhere, okay, that field goal. And it shows you his long, too. It gives you an idea. You don't want to be kicking too much beyond the long there. So anyway, so that is kind of a first look at the fast action football game from Downey Sports. I'm liking it. I like how it flows. I made a couple mistakes here today as I'm trying to show everything because there's a lot to remember. And I just started this. I haven't even played a full game yet. I've only played a few plays, but it flows. It's good. It's just so you kick off. You look for the penalty on the kickoff. If there's no penalty, who gets the return? Check the return. And now it's 1st and 10. And then it's like, okay, do you want to run or pass? Sometimes, like I said, I like to call my guy once in a while. Not all the time, once in a while. I want to hand off, Chuck Foreman. I want to come over here to the Pittsburgh's team, okay? I'm going to hand off to Franco Harris. What now we roll the chart. Is there any penalties or fumbles? Then we factor that in. You still run the play, even if there's a penalty or a fumble, okay? And then you would say, okay, now I'm going to roll the fast action card over here or flip it. Okay, I roll off the team with momentum. So now we've determined that. Now, again, if you didn't call a player out, you check the player to see who's going to get the ball on the run or the pass. And then you see what it is, the run or the catch. How did they do? Was it a completion? Was it not? The whole bit. And so, yeah, it's I'm enjoying it. There's a lot of flipping of the cards here, but it's smooth. It really does. And you get a really good visual on what's going on with the play. I'm surprised. In fact, when I read the instructions and it took a couple of minutes to sink in, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a good time. It's going to be pretty smooth and it flows pretty well. I just got to figure out the timing of this, how I want to keep track of time in this game. So that's going to be my next hurdle in this. Oh, this is kind of cool too. It shows you how many cards you use. 24 cards. That's kind of neat. So. And it shows you what number on the card, too. That's kind of cool. So now we'll shuffle, and we're all back to 0 here. And we're drawing fresh. So, yeah, fast action flipper. Boy, I'd like to see every game of that because then you could really bang, bang, bang. You wouldn't have to worry about it. But the options, that's what you need. You need options. We talked about that on the Digital to Dice podcast. Options are good. Offer the PDFs. Offer the printed version. Offer the Excel flipper. I mean, now you got 3 ways to play. You can wait for the printed cards to come in. You can print them out yourself, or you can flip it on Excel. That is fantastic. And then just this game here, just reading about this game, how you can choose to, let the computer pick your plays. I say the computer, but I mean the cards, okay? Or you can choose to play yourself, or, again, I've added the choose exactly what player to use in this game. Again, if I went to Rocky Blyer every single time, that wouldn't be quite realistic, so I probably wouldn't do that myself, so I'd be on the honor system. But the idea that you can do that, and everything's right here in the card, I love it. I love it. Once you get used to the card, and I'm still getting used to it, everything is right here in the card. If you run, it tells you, the green box is your run, how long a run is. If it's a pass, you go to the pass to see what happens. Is it a sack? Is it a QB run? A completion, incompletion, interception? It's all right here. And there's a few extra rules there too. There's coffin corner kicks. If you're trying to pooch it into the corner, there's options for that. There's, again, the 4th down option is in here. The Hail Mary option. There's a few things in there. You can even, fake punts and field goals if you want. And the first time it's pretty successful. If you come over here to the chart, and I come down here to the penalty chart, okay, and I come over here to the fake punts, chances are pretty good that I'm going to gain some yardage. I mean, it's a 1 to 12 roll. And I believe it is off the fake punt. Where is the fake punt? I have to figure out what you roll. It's a 2 to 12 roll though, and the chances are pretty good. You're gonna get some yards on here. I have to see where's the fake punt, fake field goal, fake punt. Okay, run catch. So the run catch here is the 2 to 12. Okay. So I would come down here and say, okay, it's a 9. So a fake punt, I get 3 yards. So if I needed 1, I got 3. So chances are you're going to get at least 1 yard, okay, on this here. But, yeah, it's all here. It feels like a football game. It's play-by-play. I'm enjoying it. I really am. I haven't even played that much, and now I can't wait to go and, sit down later on. And I'm going to play a game later on. And from this, pick a couple teams from the 76 season and give it a go. But again, these are initial impressions. When I played last night, I was playing New England, Miami. Let me see. New England was the better team. So New England was 11-3 in 76, and Miami was 6-8. So the first drive that I played with this, I just drove down the field and scored. I think they stopped me at the 1 or something like that, and I kicked the field goal. But I went right down the field in the Dolphins. And I'm just wondering how that would play out if I'm playing a bad team. Am I just going to go down the field the entire time? So I need some more time with it. But initial impressions are good with this game. And Harris said he doesn't have this one. He might pick it up. I didn't have it either. I didn't even give this a second thought. I like the game-winning drive. The momentum football is good too. I like game-winning drive better. However, momentum does some neat things. Momentum does what's similar to this game is where you read it. You could read it off of the offense, or you could read it off of the defense. And if you read it off of the defense, it's a defensive advantage, and you read it off of offense, it's an offensive advantage, and that's what this does too. So there's a little bit of variety there. Game-winning drive is you set your roles and you're done, so to speak. Whereas momentum, you don't know which chart you're going to read from, and also momentum has a really, really nice timing system, whereas the dice determine how many ticks you check off the clock, and so you can actually come up with more drives in a quarter than game-winning drive, because game-winning drive limits you. So I was working on a hybrid of momentum football and game-winning drive, where I would play game-winning drive, but I would use the momentum football timing. So I would roll that dice and determine, how many plays I could get out of that. So I was kind of combining the two, so to speak, and it worked pretty well actually, because I do like game-winning drive, but I just like to have a little bit of flexibility. You know what I mean? I don't want to be limited to, okay, you get 5 drives a half. That's it. It's because different games are different. Sometimes you got a quick drive, you're 3 and out. Sometimes you got a long sustained drive. So I do like adding that variable in there for game-winning drive, taking the momentum football. Anyway, so that is a quick look here at Fast Action Football. Let me put this back up on the screen here when I sign out. So this is Fast Action Football. And you got my fat card flipper here. Thanks for everybody that joined me. And thanks for tuning in. And I did make a couple of mistakes. I did today as I'm kind of running through it as I'm learning it here. But I just want to show a little bit about what's going on and how to play this game. So thanks everybody for tuning in. The OG was in the house. Harris was in the house. And anybody else that stopped by on this delightful Friday afternoon. Hope you guys all have a good weekend. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.